Hey guys, Smash JT here, and I'm just walking down San Diego, and I had to make another video about all the controversy because my heart bleeds out for George Floyd. Okay, I'm kidding. I figured, I had some. I'm not good at this, but I had some thoughts on. There's this guy. I'm not an expert on him. Who's been a part of the Darius Truxton sort of community for a while, called Dayzed Gaming. I don't remember the name. I know the name, but like, my point is, I just saw apparently he made this video where he's like very rejected, and like he's annoyed because Darius Truxton said that he was a sheep or whatever, and like, I think like he said some things that were like, I don't think that this person, Dayzed Gaming, is a bad person or anything. I definitely don't. I'm just saying, like, he basically says, I've been a follower of Darius Truxton for a year, and now Darius Truxton just insults me without a thought. And he's definitely shown a lot of support for, like, I forget the details, I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, but I noticed some things about what he was saying that I just felt were a little confused, I guess. I think he keeps, like, he says things like, oh, you guys are calling yourself the Truxton Army, you guys have problems too, why are you insulting me? Well, I feel like I also have been following for about a year, and I would say when I first followed him, part of what I always liked about him, and I always thought these videos were the most funny, was when Darius didn't try to be too, this doesn't mean I'm saying he's like a bad person, but like, a lot of the time what makes somebody funnier and more relatable is when somebody isn't exactly, I guess, nice. Like, I thought that video called like Beat 'em Ups is still the ultimate scumbag, where he's just like insulting him and it doesn't even have much to do with the video, was really funny. And like, what was I gonna say? And that was like, I love this guy. And I like that sort of cheap setup that went along with it, where he just doesn't care about that. And I would say over time, I did come to think that he was a good person. I came to agree with a lot of his political views and things like that. But like, I don't think it matters so much though, whether you think they're exactly, I guess, a good person, to be friends with them or be a part of a community. And because I noticed, I don't know if this is true at Dayzed Gaming, but like, I noticed that like on some of these videos where he was challenging people like Smash JT and frankly people who just seem like open trolls in my opinion, he always like would give them just like, he would listen to them a lot, he would give them a lot of talk in the comment section, but I just felt like even though it looked like he was making them like listen, like, I'm gonna hear you out, Smash JT, I'm gonna hear you out, Darius Truxton, it just seemed like he was being a little bit like, I don't see the point in being that generous to people who already have such a terrible track record, in my opinion. Like, I get how on the forefront it sounds fair, but honestly I feel like maybe it was just Dayzed Gaming's own, like, I guess, inconfidence, or his own, like, his own, perhaps, like, lack of self-esteem, I think he should have just had the courage to just say, you know what, Smash JT, you're crazy, we all hate you, no one likes you, and be done with it. And it's true, nobody does like him, not really. And, the Geek Getaway, I mean, I don't know much about the Geek Getaway, but there are certainly things about the Geek Getaway that make me not trust the guy, like how he has, like, donations available on his channel. Is everything Darius says about the Geek Getaway true? I would not consider myself an expert on the Amigo stuff, actually. Or, well, not on Geek Getaway, anyway. For the record, like, Darius called everyone the Geek Getaway a cult. I also found that kind of weird, because, like, I knew Tommy Uyamiko, Albert Jimenez is a good follower of mine. I know a few people in the Truxton community have like talked with the Geek Getaway, and I don't think, and of course I don't like hate them just for that, but just because I don't hate them doesn't necessarily mean they might not have. I think maybe I commented in the chat at least a little like, Just because, like, we're not bad people doesn't mean that we didn't contribute to something bad at some point. Maybe we did just contribute to something bad by talking to this guy, the Geek Getaway. That's the other thing. Like, Darius, you could talk about some flaws he might have, but they're always nothing in comparison to anybody, to any of his haters. The doxers, the people insulted, the people making sexual comments about his sister, the people falsely accusing him of pedophilia, all because they wanted to have this pathetic cover-up story for 8-Bit Eric. It's like, what's the point? And if you look at a lot of those alt accounts, you realize that that's still, most of the time, like the same, like 3 or 5 people. There are times where you just gotta straight up block these people and be mean to them, I think. I'm not saying you're automatically like guilty by association. Don't get me wrong, I love the guilty by association. I think it is great how Smash JT was criticized for talking to Prince of Fallen and everyone online. And for the record, he really obviously knew who they were from the start. That was a bunch of... And for the record, that video where he like made a video about Darius where like, you know, he went in his live chat and said like, hey Darius, stay away from my family, I blocked them. And then, you know, coincidentally, that Sierra Air account, which I don't think was a Sierra Air account for real, doxes Smash JT in the same live stream. Then Smash JT makes the video talking about Darius Truxton saying he doxed him. Don't you think that the timing of that was a little bit convenient? Don't you think that, you know, maybe he set that whole thing up? Just putting that out there. But, sorry, I'm talking of the Truxton Army lore here. Maybe not everything is easy to understand. If you really want to be friends with Darius, for sure and everything, like I said, first of all, the way I felt he was talking about you, I felt it was just like, it was not necessarily some message of like, oh my god, I'm never going to talk to this person again. Don't get me wrong, I would also be annoyed, I guess, if he said something like that about me for some minor mistake. But, like, what was I gonna say? Like, I mean, we're talking about a guy who unblocked Canadian Gamer, right? Or unblocked a Volk, right? So, I think he's definitely not going to, you know, block you or anything. Even if that's the case. Either way, I guess what I mean to say is maybe you assume things too personal. In fact, I mentioned another thing, Darius has this way of like, you know, no matter what his actual actions are, like he has a way of generally acting like he's kind of mean, I guess, in a way that in the end is just kind of meant for the sake of not trying to repress your feelings, I would say. And I noticed one thing in particular about the kind of trolls that go after him most of the time, is that they tend to all like putting up like this very big social front. Like for example, you know, somebody like Prince of Fallen likes to do the whole like condescending Kiwi Farms loser kind of thing. And Level 1 Online, whenever he goes on video, he likes to, you know, despite the way he talks on like text and on his alt accounts and everything, you know, yelling the F word all the time. When you look at any like video with him, like with his face, I think like you can tell that he's actually trying to convince people that he's like this really calm kind of guy, and that kind of really goes against, like, it's really the exact opposite with Darius. I feel like the reason those trolls get so triggered by Darius is not really because of his actions as much as just the way he acts in front of camera, because those kinds of people start to feel offended and their egos kind of start to feel like they're being attacked when they see a person essentially acting real with people. Because then they realize, oh shit, maybe I'm gonna have to act real someday, and I've built my whole life around being a fake, and a fat, and an evil. Like 8-Bit Eric, that's another example. He always has this sort of like, I'm this wise guy demeanor because he's kind of in denial of the fact that he doesn't have any YouTube followers. And a lot of real YouTubers kind of like to do that, where I'm like, I'm sort of this like experienced internet person. So it's just this cover up. So when it comes to, so my point is, a lot of people feel like, I guess they have to have this sort of righteous way of acting when, no, I think Darius does not care about that kind of thing, and that's what's good. Like, maybe he should just, I do not believe that there's any large conflict between you two, but the way you were talking seemed to suggest that you were viewing things too much in, I guess, a sort of, I guess, polite point of view where you were focused more so on the behaviors and the way Darius talked about you as opposed to the actual actions. And when you look at the actual actions of you just like supporting a guy he doesn't like, that's really not a big deal. And I don't think that he meant that. And even if he does mean that, whatever, I disagree.